Greetings.
Hi.
From beautiful Port Canaveral, Florida.
Yeah.
We're here on location for this edition of our top 5, which is the top 5
things that we loved about Mariner of the Seas.
Yes, Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas. So we came here to Port Canaveral because today, as the day of filming, is actually the first day that Mariner will sail out of Port Canaveral as its home port. So it was stationed in Miami, that's where we sailed out of, and it has now arrived at Port Canaveral.
And I'll link the video. We actually are here on the same day of another video we recently posted where we saw the sail away of Mariner and Harmony. But while we're here to see Mariner go out on its first journey from Port Canaveral, we thought we would welcome it to Port Canaveral and do its top 5 from when we sailed in September.
Exactly. So again, the top 5 things that we love about Mariner of the Seas, and then you can be sure to let us know what things you loved about it, or if you have not yet sailed on Mariner but you're thinking about it or planning on it, you can let us know the top 5 things you're looking forward to. So let's get it started. So our number 5 thing that we love about Mariner of the Seas is
the Mariner Dunes.
Mariner Dunes. Grandma took a spill at the dunes.
Oh no, broke her cactus.
Mariner Dunes is the miniature golf course aboard Mariner of the Seas. And we like mini golf a lot.
Yeah.
We always enjoy it. But this one specifically, we've played mini golf on Oasis, on Mariner, and on Jewel, and I think this one by far was our favorite.
It was really fun. It was very playful. It had beach theme.
A very colorful, very fun style to it. It looked in great shape, and it was in phenomenal shape.
What I liked about this one was that this one was more of a zany kind of putt-putt course where it had more obstacles. You tried to hit it up into ramps and, you know, go into the sand castle and down the clamshell and lots of fun stuff like that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I like that stuff kind of more than just the traditional hit it down the fairway, you know, and turn right and turn left.
Yeah.
I like when you got some challenges and something that makes it a little more interesting, a little zing, a little pep. It was up on deck too, like up on this part of the sports deck, so it was up high on the back of the ship and you got a great view all around.
Yeah, it was gorgeous, and we played a couple times and we enjoyed it both times.
Yeah, so definitely feel good about that ranking. That was definitely deserved to be in the top 5. Number 4 thing we loved about Mariner of the Seas was
the nightly aesthetic.
What do we mean by that? Up on the sports deck. So a big thing they added to Mariner of the Seas that was probably like the main focal point of its visual profile was the sky pad, which is like the bungee jumping trampoline dealio, virtual reality, but it's in this big circular sphere that has like these holes cut out of it, so it's open air, but the holes are trimmed in neon lights, and then they also project lights up on top of it, and lights on the Perfect Storm water slides, and lights from the rock climbing wall down on the basketball court.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff going on that like deck 13 sports deck area. It really just came alive at night, and it was a very beautiful spot to be in, and they just did so good at making it a fun place to be.
I mean, I think that's kind of the calling card of Mariner of the Seas, is all of the fun things that you can do. And this was definitely one of the hotbeds for all of that activity. And when that night, when they had all the lights on, different colored lights for different parts, flashing lights and stagnant lights in other areas, it just really came together and gave it this nice, again, aesthetic profile, to where when you look at some ships, especially at night, it's kind of plain. This one though lights up really well, and it's a lot of bright, fun colors.
They did a really good job of highlighting their biggest highlight with this ship and making it stick out and making you notice it. I really like when you can look at a ship and you know what ship it is because of how it looks on the outside. And if you were sailing around at night, even if you were on another ship far away, you could figure out that that was Mariner, and I thought that was really cool.
Number 3 thing we loved about Mariner of the Seas
was the super cool ice show. See what I did there? Cool.
Oh, that was a good icebreaker.
I
Yes, this show was called Ice Under the Big Top.
Yes.
And we thoroughly enjoyed it, and I didn't really expect to be honest, but I did.
Even if you're not into figure skating, you don't need to be to go see this show. It was just such a good performance. It was such a good theatrical experience.
There were people juggling, there were aerial acrobatics, there was all kinds of stuff. I can't even remember everything.
The thought that they put into it, they just didn't rest on ice skating. They actually made a full-on performance that was very, very good and stood alone.
The biggest piece of advice I could give you for the ice show is to get there early. We did not, and it was a packed house.
Yeah.
We had to stand and watch it. We still enjoyed it, but try to get there as early as you can and try to get a front row seat because there's some interactive show elements with those who sit in the front.
It's so much fun. I think if you're going to prioritize any kind of entertainment throughout your cruise on Mariner of the Seas, I think the ice show is definitely the thing to hit.
Absolutely. Number 2 thing that we loved about Mariner of the Seas, laser tag.
Yeah.
Battle for Planet Z.
It was so cool. This was located in Studio B, which is also serves as the location for the ice shows and just ice skating in general. So how do they put laser tag on an ice rink, you may ask? Cover the ice, and they have these big blow up obstacle course things, and that serves as your laser tag course. And it sounds super simple and maybe not super impressive, but it really was. Yeah, it was high quality equipment too. The guns that you use, the vest, I mean, it was top of the line. We've played our share of laser tag and throughout our days of various locales, and I think this was the most fun we've ever had doing it. Aliens versus robots is what it was, and they would announce which team was currently leading. It was just such good theming, and they really ramped up the energy in there where you were hyped for it, and it was just such a good experience. And for it to be included in your cruise fare, I mean, this is a steal. Just make sure you have closed-toed shoes. Yes. You have to have those. In the vlog where we went that day, we actually covered some of the basics and the rules and guidelines. So make sure we'll link to that, check that out so you can get like the age restrictions and all that jazz. So, highly, highly, highly recommend you check out the laser tag, especially like Chelsea says, since it is included in your cruise fare. First 4 things that we mentioned are all included with your cruise fare. But our number 1 thing that we loved about Mariner of the Seas does come with a surcharge, but obviously we think it's worth it. We put it at number 1. It was the escape room that was called Observatory. The general theme was that you're kind of like in this astronomer's lair. Basically, you were trying to get his big telescope to start working, and you had all these puzzles to figure out. You had 50 minutes to do it, and it was so, I can't tell you how much fun it was. The concept of an escape room that you would find on land, you go into a room, you solve different puzzles to try to solve the overall puzzle. $19.99 per person, but again, we highly recommend it. The theming in this one was just top notch. Interactive elements, I mean, when you'd solve a puzzle, lights would go off, a chime would go off, a door would unlock and open, and it was literally full of bells and whistles. Literally. The difficulty was, I think, perfect. I was worried that it was going to be too simple and too easy. It definitely was not, but it was not something that would make you just want to go home and cry. Worst part about it is that you can't do it again. Yeah, it's one and done, unfortunately. Because you know the puzzles, so, you know, that was the unfortunate thing. We got done, we were so close, and we just wanted to go back and keep doing it again and again, but you can't. It's one-stop shop. We were in awe after we did it. It's like a rush of adrenaline doing it, which is crazy because you're just in a room, but with that clock going and, you know, your brain problem solving like in a way that it normally doesn't do on a regular basis, it just makes it a really exciting activity, and we just loved it. All right, guys, so that was our top 5 things that we loved about Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas. Number 5, the Mariner Dunes. Number 4, the night aesthetic. Number 3, ice under the big top. Number 2 was the laser tag Battle for Planet Z. And number 1, of course, the Observatory escape room. We absolutely loved all of these things. If you're looking for a weekend getaway, you want a weekend like you mean it, you want to look at Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas, now sailing from Port Canaveral. Yay! So if you have a family who's looking to do some fun activities, you guys are go-getters, you want to get the adrenaline pumping, you want to have some fun, you got to hit up Mariner. Like we said before, we sailed on Mariner in September of last year, 2018, and we absolutely loved it. We wanted to properly welcome it into Port Canaveral because we love Port Canaveral, we love Mariner. It deserved that warm welcome. and it definitely deserved a top 5.
If you would like to know more about Mariner of the Seas, be sure to check out our playlist that we have that includes daily vlogs, our room tour, which was a brand new room. This room did not exist before the renovation, so check that out, as well as a full and complete ship tour. We showed you everything we could on Mariner of the Seas. Be sure to stay tuned because coming shortly after this video, we will have a full review of Mariner of the Seas. And of course, if you're interested in sailing on Mariner of the Seas or Royal Caribbean's other ships or any cruise line in general, feel free to reach out. We have our website and our email addresses at the end of all of our videos. So until next time, from beautiful Port Canaveral, the new home port of Mariner of the Seas, we will say happy travels!